Welcome to Agility Station, episode 2 of series on how we can improve performance of an agile release train. I am Anshu Gupta and with me is Vinod. In this episode, we continue our conversation on improving the performance of an agile release train from the previous episode. Welcome Vinod in episode 2 of improving performance of an art.
Uh, Thank you, Anshu. Uh, Hi all. So, in the episode one, so we have touched upon the what is meant by art performance plan, how it is different from art maturity assessment, and how the gap between art performance plan and art maturity assessment can be bridged. If you haven't watched our episode one, then do watch it. Subscribe to our podcast, The Agile Station. In this episode, we continue our discussion on why there is a need for art performance plan. What are the different parameters that can be used to evaluate art performance, different phases of art performance, and finally, approach to create a performance plan. So normally it's a very common question that we used to get. Why do we need an art performance plan? Anshu, your thoughts.
Yeah, Vinod. So this is a very common question which everyone asks that we have so many already available assessments. So why we need such a plan? What I'll say is that assessments are there, but they are just to help you evaluate competencies where you lie on the defined competency. For example, agility or Scrum Master capability, etc. So they will definitely help you to determine the current state what is the current maturity of an agile release train, and they will definitely help you to identify the areas of improvement. But the assessments doesn't tell you how you can improve the performance, how you can uh, bring changes to fill the gaps identified through assessments. And uh, this is what is helpful, and this is what your performance plan will give you. Or what steps you can take to fill those gaps which are identified using the different assessments. So basically, performance plan comes in with a series of steps, a structured approach for bridging the gaps defined by your assessments and achieve a high performance. So with this, we start with why there is a need for an art performance plan. And here I'll say that, as Simon Sinek famously said, start with why. So we begin by exploring the need of a performance plan through a golden circle defined again by Simon Sinek in his book, Start with Why, which emphasizes what, why, and how of the performance plan. So I'll say that what is a plan? It's a structured approach to improve efficiency, effectiveness, and value delivery of an art. It helps you to identify the current maturity level of art through the series of assessments that are already there, or through a series of past historical data on the team performance or art performance or the deliveries that they have done. It helps you to define target goals and outline a set of actions to improve the performance, collaboration, alignment with the other teams. And it's not just limited to an agile release train. It can be used for teams, or can be used for a solution train or portfolio, or for an individual also. It's just you need to tailor a little bit if you are using it for an individual. Why you need a plan? So you know where the gaps are, but how you are going to fill those gaps? What are the different steps that you have to take to fill those gaps? That are defined in this plan. So that is the reason why you need a plan. You need to have a steps to fill those gaps. So a plan helps you uh, to align the teams to art business objectives to deliver your value. It helps you to define the steps to fill the gaps, improve art predictive and value flow, and as well as it will help you to enable continuous improvement within yourself, within your team, within your an art or a solution train to take up continuous improvement steps to enhance your performance. And finally, how to create a plan. This is a good point that how you are going to create a plan. So I'll say start with definitely assessments. We have a several seven assessments defined for seven different competencies by Skilled Agile. Your historical data analysis. You start with engaging with team and stakeholders. Try to get the pain points from them. You define the vision and goals by establishing clear and measurable objectives for maturity improvements aligned to overall art goals. You train the team, you empower them through trainings and workshops, develop an actionable plan by prioritizing improvement actions based on impact and feasibility. And then finally, you execute it, monitor the progress and outcomes, review the outcomes, and then reiterate the whole plan. So this is how you will uh, come to know that why you need a plan. So Vinod, what you think can be different parameters under which we can assess the performance of an art or a team?
So there are a couple of parameters how to evaluate art performance. So one is cycle time, which will measures the time taken for each phase of the development. We have cumulative flow diagram, which shows the how the workflow is in the teams. Is it smooth? Is there any kind of roadblocks? All that. Customer satisfaction, measure how well the arts are aligned with the real goals. Lead team helps team identify the bottlenecks and understand the speed of the process. Velocity, where we measure the amount of work of a team. Then predictability, where how much the art meets its commitments, how predictable the arts are. Then last, we have inspect and adapt. So it's a regular event where teams and stakeholders reflect, collect data, and solve problems. Any thoughts, Anshu?
Yeah, Vinod. So all these parameters are important to figure out how the art is performing or how a team is performing. I would also say that we can overall classify all these parameters under three broad categories. So, which I say as a collaboration, delivery, and customer focus. So, we should not just measure the cycle time, lead time, or your velocity. We also need to measure some other parameters in terms of deliveries or the customer focus, how the team is focused towards customers, whether they understand their needs or not. So when that is the reason why I put all these parameters under three broad categories: collaboration, delivery, and customer. Collaboration talks all about how the team work together. What is the synergy within the team? How they are cross functional aligned with the other teams? What is the leadership engagement with team? Measure frequency of team syncs, participation rate in retros. We know the retros are happening, but what is the participation rate? Whether everyone is trying to actively participate here or just a few people participating in the retros. So retros again can be both at team level, art level. So it has to start from team level too. Demos, how they are happening, whether the stakeholders are engaged in demos, whether they are like actively involved. See, one is something like they're joining the demos, but are they actively participating in the demos or not? And cross team interactions and communication, how beneficial are they? How fruitful are they? So those are the things that we try to measure under a collaboration phase. Then delivery practices that deals about the effectiveness of delivery processes like agile execution, cadence reliabilities, technical excellence, whether the team is technically competent or not, all the skill set is available within the team or not. Measure some matrices like cycle time, what Vinod mentioned, lead time, deployment frequency. But we also need to measure the defect escape rate. What is the QA effectiveness? On time deliveries, how much it's happening? Whether there's a spillover with from one iteration to other, and how frequently that is happening in terms of a story spillover. uh, how frequently your backlog is being updated and refined. All these things we try to measure under delivery practices. And finally, the customer focus, where we try to highlight the alignment with customer needs and feedback, like how efficient your value stream is. Customer feedback is being gathered and integrated, and based on that, we are improving ourselves or not. So, as part of your continuous improvement, which is one of the base of agile, and what is an overall impact of feedback integration, whether we are able to get the customer satisfaction score or not, customer engagement level during different activities. So all these things are important. We also need to understand that team is delivering the project, delivering the stories, everything they are delivering, but whether they really understand the customer problem. So that is one thing we need to measure it. We need to identify if the customer, if needs are not understood by the team, then how they will deliver it effectively. So that is the basic criteria to have a category as a customer focus. So this was about the parameters where you we can try to use them to measure the performance of a team or an art. So, Vinod, what time frame we are looking for such a plan?
Uh, there are no specified uh, time frame to for a plan. Uh, why? Because it differs based on the maturity of the team, the agile maturity of the team, the complexity of the uh, product or software or product or whatever delivery you are giving it, and based on the complexity of the art structure. So it differs team to team, art to art, organization to organization based on the complexity. But as per me, I would like to say once you implement the improvement plan, you will know the result. You will come to know the result during the first system demo after the implementation plan started. So in the system demo, when we have all the necessary stakeholders and when we get the feedback, from there we'll come to know like how much are we delivering how much value we are delivering, and what how the customer satisfaction rate is going on. Anything you want to add, Anshu?
Absolutely, Vinod. So it's all about the art, the organization. So there's no hard and fast time rule. But what I think is that we can create a plan for a PI and then keep on monitoring it every two iterations, and revisit it every two iterations and remodify it, because two iterations are, I think, more than enough for us to evaluate the some certain outcomes. So again, it has to be tailored as per the need, as per the organization requirements, as per the complexity of an art. But define a plan for PI, Keep on revisiting it every two iterations, modify it based on what the outcomes are after every two iterations. Because if we just wait for the whole PI to complete, then it is too late, what I think. So just like we have iterations, we do have iterations for the plan also. So, Vinod, what do you think can be an approach that we can take to create a performance plan?
For defining the art performance improvement plan, uh, there are different stages that can be covered, which so it's like it starts from the initiation where you define objectives, uh, engage all the stakeholders, and establish the baselines. Then we have second is diagnostic, where you analyze the current performance and identify if there are any gaps and how to rectify that. So planning, we have a kind of detailed, actionable improvement plan where you implement it, then you monitor it. That will come under execution. Once you implement the plan and iteratively, and then you start monitoring the progress. So just like what we discussed, based on the time frame of the concerned art, we will keep monitoring it, and then uh, we will try to understand how where the execution is moving. Then we have evaluation, where you measure the outcomes, and based on that you adjust adjust the steps, action plans on the results. Then lastly, it's a sustainment, where you what all improvements you have done, that we need to make sure that it's continuing, and you need to promote the continuous learning across the art. Anshu, your thoughts?
Thanks, Vinod. Yeah, it's such a great approach towards defining a plan. So we can also summarize it by putting a 5E framework to define a plan where we can marry both the approaches together. So I say 5E as explore, explain, establish, execute, evaluate. So in explore, I say evaluate the current state of an art. In explain, I say define the goals. Establish, you define and develop an action plan. What different steps that you need to take to improve a performance based on the level that you have decided. From where you, what is the condition where you want to move. Execute it. So whatever plan that you have defined, implement that plan. And finally, an evaluate state where you review the plan and reiterate it based on certain modifications that you want to make based on the outcomes that were uh, delivered or the outcomes that are obtained and the outcomes that you actually wanted. So based on that, if you need to improve, make any changes in your plan, you make those changes and then reiterate the whole plan. So this is what I think we can say about the approach. Again, uh, you can tailor it as per your need. So it's not an hard and fast that you need to take any of these approaches. If you have any other approach also, you can take that. But this is a 5E framework or the one which Vinod mentioned. These are the simple approaches that we find out and we heavily use it to define the action plans, and they're really good. So uh, with this, we come to an end of this episode. So thanks, Vinod, for joining in today's session.
Thanks, Anshu. And to all others, don't forget to subscribe the Agility Station and follow us for future episodes on series on how to improve performance of an agile release train, where in next episode we'll be discussing on content of a performance plan.
Thanks, Vinod. And till then, stay agile, stay focused, stay healthy. We'll meet in next episode. Thank you all.